Water levels of the Dadaroya on the rise. Minor flood warning for lowlands. State and provincial public sector employees to protest, demanding relief from the budget. Thenuka Vidanagamage comments on the electricity tariff hike. Turkish Airlines launches direct flights to Colombo. Palestinian death toll has risen past 8,000, says Gaza's health ministry. Familiar foes Afghanistan and Sri Lanka to meet with semi-finals still within reach.
The official ICC Men's Cricket World Cup India 2023.
Sri Lanka and Afghanistan will both be out to even up their win-loss record and give their hopes of reaching the knockout stages a huge boost when the sides meet in Pune this afternoon. Afghanistan will take on Sri Lanka in the 30th ODI World Cup 2023 match in Maharashtra Cricket Association Stadium in Pune. Both sides have surged back into semi-final contention with giant killing victories as Afghanistan stunned Pakistan and Sri Lanka made it 2. Lanka are in the 5th position with a much better run rate while the Afghans are in the 7th position. These two teams have played 11 ODIs against each other so far. Sri Lanka have won 7 of those and Afghanistan 3. One match did not produce any results. The game between Afghanistan and Sri Lanka will start at 2 p.m. Sri Lanka time, and cricket fans can catch all the action live via the MTV MBC Media Network, the official local broadcast right holders of the ICC Cricket World Cup. The matches can be viewed live on TV1 and www.sirasatv.lk and on TNL. In addition, the match will also be on air on YFM. The Irrigation Department states that there is a risk of minor flooding in the lowlands surrounding the Dadaroya.
Director of the Hydrology Unit of the Department of Irrigation, SPC Sugishwara, stated that minor flooding may occur in Baryapula, Nikavarattiya, Mahaba, Kobaigane, Bingiriya, Pallama, Chilau, Arachikattua and Rasnayakapura areas. He stated that there is a risk of inundation of the roads in the respective areas. The irrigation engineer in charge of the Dadaroya reservoir, Sampath Samarajiva, said that with the heavy rainfall experienced in the catchment areas, steps were taken to open 6 sluice gates. The general public residing in the lower areas of the Dadaroya reservoir are advised to remain vigilant. 3 sluice gates have been opened at the Polgolla Mahavali Dam due to the current rainfall. Meanwhile, with the heavy rain experienced in the central hills, earth mounds have collapsed at several places on the Uva Paranagama Bomurualla road. The police have requested those using the road to stay vigilant.
The 2024 budget will be presented to the Parliament on the 13th of November. Public sector employees have decided to engage in trade union action with effect from tomorrow, demanding an allowance of 20,000 rupees or a salary increment via the budget. The State and Provincial Public Services Trade Union Collective initiated a nationwide protest at noon today, and it will take place tomorrow as well. Another protest is taking place opposite Setsiripaya in Battaramulla. The People's Movement to Protecting Schools and the Ceylon Teachers Union stressed that the sufficient financial allocations should be made via the budget. The appropriation bill is out. After studying it, we see very little money has been allocated for essential public services, including education and health in our country. In this, we also see that even when the education sector is in a state of collapse and is in a dangerous situation, very little money is allocated. they have spent on other sectors, which would help them increase their privileges to the ministries, MPs' allowances, the President's allowances, and also allocate money from the budget and various methods for their own pleasures, which do not need to be prioritized in our country. We hope to launch a week of protest based on the fact that adequate funds should be allocated for education. In the last budget too, 1.2% of GDP was allocated, but it was not used either. It was not given. We are asking to allocate at least 6% immediately. If that is not done, even after the budget, we will not be able to stop university students, teachers, principals and parents from protesting against the government. Jatika Jana Balawege parliamentarian Vijita Herath warned that the upcoming budget will only impose taxes on the people. It is evident that after Ranil Rajapaksa regime came into power, except on paper, nothing was done from everywhere in the world. In a few days' time, the budget is due to be presented. What usually transpires when the budget is due in the past, the Secretary to the Ministry of Finance will advertise on multiple pages in newspapers, requesting the inputs from the general public for the upcoming budget. This time, nothing was called for. I heard that Samar Singha, who is the economic advisor, has stated there is no use in obtaining economic advice. They are left with no options and also nothing to offer, and there is no way of increasing the benefits. Everything in this country takes place according to the IMF agenda. The agenda is to further tax the general public. It is very clear there is no beating around the bush. While 75 years have passed since gaining independence, the Ranil Rajapaksa clan does not have a vision nor a program to uplift the economy. A program was held earlier today to inform the Ceylon Electricity Board employees regarding the electricity tariff hike. The program was held opposite the head office of the Ceylon Electricity Board.
Leaflet distribution program was organized by the Ceylon Electricity Board Employees Union and requested all trade union workers and employees to gather near the head office on the 1st of November. The 54th anniversary of the Ceylon Electricity Board falls on that day. The Electricity Consumers Association also distributed handbills informing about a protest march organized against the increase in electricity tariff. This program was carried out in front of the Fort Railway Station this morning. The protest march is scheduled to start from Bulletin on the 1st of November and reach the Ministry of Power and Energy.
The members of the Electricity Users Association arrived at the police headquarters to obtain permission for the protest march scheduled to be held on the 1st of November.
November පළවෙනිදා පවත්වන දැවන්ත පාගමන දිවුලු පිටියෙන් අපි පෙරවරු 8ට ආරම්භ.
We are expecting the protest march on the 1st of November to commence from Diulapitia at 8 a.m. The main purpose today is to inform the DIG with regard to this in writing. We will engage in this protest without carrying any arms and in a peaceful manner. Thus, we are requesting the DIG to not to gather police force and not to prepare water cannons, tear gas or involve the riot police. We are planning to engage in this protest march peacefully.
සූදානම් කරන්න එපා කැරලි මර්දනයේ.
State Minister for Urban Development and Housing, Thenuka Vidanagamage, expressed his views regarding the increase in electricity tariffs.
On one side, we are regretful of the electricity price increments because when we see the problems of the people, we can clearly see that this is going to be a great inconvenience to the people. But the minister and the authorities have said that this is done based on a need. We know that with the current situation in the country, such decisions will have to be made. But we would like to say that even though we represent the government, we need to be more considerate towards the people during this time.
SLPP parliamentarian Rohitabe Gunawardana states that the previous government should also share responsibility for the electricity price hikes.
The electricity tariff hike is unbearable. The fuel prices have increased as well. Not only the current government, but the government of good governance from 2015 to 2019 should also be held responsible. Nothing was done to uplift the national grid during their time. They always spoke against development in the country. The World Bank delegation which arrived in Sri Lanka yesterday is scheduled to visit Jaffna today. They also met Minister of Agriculture Mahinda Amaravira yesterday. The delegation, including Director of Operations Management of the World Bank, Anna Beardy, arrived in the island yesterday morning. The World Bank delegation is in Sri Lanka to inquire into the current status of the agricultural modernization project in Rajanganaya. Minister of Agriculture Mahinda Amaravira, State Minister of Finance Shehan Semasinghe and others were present at this event.
The project start. 10.5 kilogram boxes has officially concluded.
The World Bank delegation is scheduled to participate in a roundtable discussion between multilateral financial institutions under the chairmanship of the President. Another purpose of this visit is to monitor the progress of the projects being implemented in Sri Lanka under the World Bank assistance.
Newsfirst with the people.
NARA says that the Chinese research vessel Xi'an 6 will commence its research operations in the Sea of Sri Lanka today. The National Aquatic Resources Research and Development Agency adds that the research operations are being carried out in the Sea of Sri Lanka's Benthara coast. The Chinese geophysical scientific research vessel Xi'an 6 will engage in a research surrounding several areas, including measuring the seawater temperature, ocean currents, marine lives and climate change. The National Aquatic Resources Research and Development Agency said that in addition, samples of water at different levels of the deep sea will also be tested. 4 NARA officials are scheduled to join the research activities. Spokesperson of the Sri Lanka Navy, Captain Gayan Wickramasuriya, says that in addition, 2 Navy officers will also join this research team. Commissioned in 2020, the Xi'an 6 is registered with the International Maritime Organization registration as a research vessel. Weighing 260 tons, the Xi'an 6 can accommodate 60 people. Attention is currently drawn to the proposed method of granting licenses to Indian fishermen to engage in fishing activities in the Sea of Sri Lanka. Fishermen's associations point out that the Minister of Fisheries should inform the position on this. The current government is destroying the fisheries industry of Sri Lanka. Now they are trying to give away the opportunity that our local fishermen have to Indian fishermen, allowing them to engage in fishing in our waters. We would like to tell the officials to stop this game. Once the Indian fishermen come into play, what will happen to our local fishermen? What will be left for them? Minister of Fisheries must provide answers to this. Who allowed Ranil Wickramasinghe, the Prime Minister, and the others to do such things?
The Ministry of Agriculture and Plantation Industries Mahinda Amaravira says that no final agreement has been reached on granting licenses to Indian fishermen to fish in the Sri Lankan waters.
It's good to have a discussion and come to an agreement. They are anyways involved in fishing. It is done in an illegal manner, in a way that damages the environment, in such a way that the soil is also damaged. But we have not yet reached a final agreement on giving them a license. There is only one request. Direct flights between Turkey and Sri Lanka commenced with effect from Monday. The first direct flight from Turkish Airlines from Istanbul to Colombo carried 261 passengers and reached the Bandaranaike International Airport on Monday morning. The passengers were warmly welcomed upon their arrival with a traditional Kandyan dancing performance and Ceylon tea gift packs by the Sri Lanka Tea Board. Minister Arin Fernando, retired Major General G.A. Chandrasiri, Chairman of Airport and Aviation Services Sri Lanka Private Limited, were present to welcome the passengers. For almost a decade, Turkish Airlines operated flights to Katunaika via Mali, Maldives. A direct flight of Turkish Airlines from Istanbul to Colombo only take 8 hours, and these direct flights have been scheduled for Monday, Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday. Each flight will leave Istanbul at 5:40 a.m. local time and depart Sri Lanka at 7:40 a.m. local time. Retired Major General G.A. Chandrasuri, Chairman of Airport and Aviation Services Sri Lanka Private Limited, stated that direct flights between Turkey and Colombo would result in a spike in passengers to Sri Lanka. After weeks of war, Palestinian death toll in Gaza rises above 8,000.
At least 8,005 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza in Israeli attacks since the 7th of October, and more than 1,400 people were killed in Hamas's attack in Israel. International non-governmental group Save the Children said that more children have been killed in Gaza in the last 3 weeks than the total killed in conflicts around the world in every year since 2019. The United Nations World Food Programme said some of its aid supplies were looted in Gaza and warned of growing hunger and desperation. The United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine Refugees in the Near East said that thousands of people had broken into some of its warehouses and distribution centers in the central and southern areas of the Strip, taking wheat flour and other basic survival items such as hygiene supplies. The food program said one of its warehouses was storing some of its food commodities and supplies from humanitarian deliveries through Egypt. Video footage showed a protester in support of Palestine taking down the Israeli flag from the UN Food and Agriculture Organization headquarters in Rome, Italy. All flights to and from Makhachkala airport in the Russian region were suspended after groups of protesters entered the facility. Hundreds of people stormed through the main airport in Russia's Dagestan region to protest the arrival of a flight from Israel. Authorities closed the airport in Makhachkala and police converged on the facility. There were no immediate reports of arrests, but there were several injuries. Russian aviation agencies said that the situation was under control upon the arrival of authorities to the scene. Demonstrators demand a stop to airstrikes in Gaza, protesting in Chicago. Crowds with the Chicago Coalition for Justice in Palestine started a march through downtown streets, protesting against Israeli airstrikes over the Gaza Strip. The protest came as Israel on Saturday expanded its ground operation in Gaza, sending in tanks and infantry backed by massive strikes from the air and sea.
We don't get it!
Cages Carnival 2023, organized by Old Anandians Basketball Wing, took place in Colombo.
Cages Carnival 2023 was organized by All Anandians Basketball Wing to promote the sport across the country, and the event was graced by Defence Secretary Retired General Kamal Gunaratne. 40 teams competed in the Cages Carnival 2023. The Anand College Colombo B team won the Under-20 boys events, and Good Shepherd Convent Kotahena won the Under-20 girls championship. Science College Mount Lavinia won the men's open, and Holy Family Convent Bambalapitia won the women's open championship.
From that, we bring to a close this edition of Lunchtime News on TV1. For details of these stories and much more, simply log on to our website www.newsfirst.lk. For the Newsfirst, where the people come first, I'm Martin Satyanis, and you take care and good day.